Alrighty guys, welcome back to yet another video. So today we are taking a look at this incredible watch, the Tissot 35mm PRX Powermatic 80. And I had this watch for maybe about a year now, so I can give you guys a full long-term review on what I think about it, the pros and the cons. And this is a rather popular watch that you see a lot of watch reviewers or YouTubers review. And there is good reason as to why the PRX is such a popular watch. And my first impressions on this watch is that it is super classy, elegant, yet not overkill. With it being an all gold watch, a lot of times it can come off as a little bit boastful or corny, if you will, a little bit try hard. But this one kind of pulls it off where it doesn't really scream at you like, oh my gosh, look at me. I think the reason why it's able to achieve such a calm, understated look is just the way it's constructed. You know, it's a very sleek and slim watch. It's not huge. And with the 35mm size, it's a little bit more on the smaller profile. Now coming in at an MSRP of $825, it really isn't all too expensive compared to the other watches on the market. The box that it comes in is rather standard. It is a little bit damaged over here, but that's just from shipping and handling. So I'm gonna remove this sleeve, revealing the secondary box underneath. Just all black, and it does have a cool little red lining on the interior. This is all just the plastics that were on the watch itself, along with the price tag and all that jazz. And in here we have a nice little pillow cushion that was holding the watch. And this little document bit here, it kind of goes into all of the details, the warranty information. So you can always read through that. So now let's get into the specifications of this watch. So this has a 35mm dial, which is the diameter over here going across. They do have a larger size as well, around 40mm. Because I have a rather smaller wrist, the 35 fits me perfectly. It has an 80-hour power reserve. The entire construction is made of 316L stainless steel with a yellow gold PVD coating. Now it doesn't state which carat of gold that they're using or if it's even real gold, but it is PVD coated with gold. And if you look at the rear side, we do have a see-through case back featuring the automatic Swiss movement. And moving back to the front, we do have a sapphire crystal, which is very durable and very scratch resistant. It does have a anti-reflective coating, so when you are outdoors or you're in a place where there's a lot of glares, it remains pretty clear for the most part, where you can look at your time without any sort of distraction. Last but not least, we also have a quick release mechanism for the bracelet. There are a couple pins top and bottom. If you just squeeze them in, you can remove this band completely, either to replace it, to change it out, and you can push the edges to release the mechanism. So very simple and straightforward controls on this watch. And to adjust the automatic movement, this is not a screw, so you don't twist it back, you just pull it out. Now there are two clicks on this. When you pull it all the way out to the furthest setting, that adjusts your secondary hand, as you can see. And then if you push it in just a half click, you can feel it, that will adjust your date. So if you just look carefully on the screen, you can see the date moving up like so, and just push it all the way back in. So now I want to talk a little bit more about the overall fit and finish. So I do have the links adjusted to my wrist size, which is 7 inches. This is probably one of the most comfortable watches I've ever worn. I think it also has to do with how flat these links are. It just kind of melts into your wrist. You don't really feel it on there. It's very light. And overall, I just like how thin it looks. And I think that's why this looks very elegant. You know, if you have an overly bulky and huge looking watch, that's where it looks more on the cheaper side, which is quite interesting, right? The bigger it is, the weirder it looks. The smaller it is, the more classy it looks. And of course, there's a certain balance to it. But this one really works for many occasions. You can dress it up, you can dress it down. You can even imagine wearing a suit with this, it'll work with that. Or if you're just wearing something that's more casual, this also works as well. I was kind of hesitant on getting a fully gold looking watch just because of the potential mismatch in colors. I've always felt that silver tone watches tend to fit more outfits, but I haven't had any problems with this watch in terms of matching it with outfits. I think it just really works with every occasion. Now the watch style, I gotta say, it doesn't really seem all that original because it kind of adopts some of the stylistic choices of like the Rolex Oyster Quartz, or maybe a little bit of an AP with this sort of squared off design. It's definitely a more inspired piece rather than an original design, but I'm okay with that because it doesn't really feel like they're necessarily ripping other brands off or ripping other designs off. They did add their own little flair to it, their own little, design elements and whatnot. Now there are actually a couple of variants of the PRX. They all kind of adopt the same design, the same case style and all that. But this one, like I said, is an automatic movement. They do have one that has a quartz movement, which is the standard PRX, not the Powermatic 80. And there is a pretty big, price difference. So this one, like I said, has a retail price of around $825. I personally got it on sale for around $600 about a year ago. Looking at the more cheaper alternative, like the quartz powered one, that has an MSRP of $395. So if you're wondering which one to get, it really depends on what you're looking for. Definitely if it suits your budget to get the cheaper version, you can go for it. But it doesn't have the clear case back. This is strictly for the automatic versions because if you have a quartz movement, there's really not much to look at in the back. Now, I just want to say that this watch is not necessarily an investment watch. It's not going to go up in value. It's not rare. They're pretty easy to get. Every watch dealer is going to have these available. But even so, the PRX really holds its value, especially the Powermatic 80, because of the automatic movement. This watch I can pretty much sell for exactly what I got it for a whole year later, even down the road. The quartz movement version does have a little bit more depreciation. I noticed I've seen a couple of used ones going for 120, 150. That is more than 50% of a loss. Now, because I was able to secure this for around $600 brand new, of course I have worn it and kind of beat it up a little bit. I can still get around $550 to $600 for this. And that value will pretty much be stable as long as I keep it in good condition. Of course, if you damage it, scratch it up more, crack anything, obviously the value is gonna drop. But for the most part, it's pretty solid when it comes to a value perspective. Overall, I gotta say, there's really not much bad to say about this watch. It's pretty much good in every aspect. There was always this one thing that kind of got me a little wondering or left in the dark about is the coating. Like I said, they did claim they PVD coated this with gold, but they never specified what kind of gold content or if it's even real gold. Or if it's just a gold coloring. Another thing I forgot to mention about the Powermatic 80 versions is that the dial does have a waffle design. The standard PRX doesn't. It's more so a solid color. Now, with this being a very popular watch, there's parts pretty much available anywhere when it comes to modifications or customizing. So there are actually a lot of people who take these watches apart and change the dial to their own custom design. So that is always an option. Personally, I didn't decide to do that just because I want to retain the value of this watch for what it is and keep it more so OEM. I definitely am a huge fan of this watch and would recommend it to anyone who's looking for a classy watch that doesn't break the bank. But yeah, what do you guys think of this watch? Is it overhyped? Is it, something that you would never get because of the hype? I gotta say that I got a lot of compliments on this watch over every other watch that I've had. I actually get more compliments on this watch over my Rolex Datejust. Maybe it's the fact that it's gold that kind of makes it grab a little bit more attention, but for the most part, I'm really, really happy with this watch and I definitely would recommend it for anyone who's in the market for one. If you guys want to see more review videos on various products, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as turning on the post notifications. With that being said, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.